Hey guys, ladies. I'm sure there's a couple of you ladies who are trying this out too. It's a great business for anybody, really. Um, it's easy to get into and it's really profitable. What business am I talking about? Pressure washing. Starting your own pressure washing company. I've done it. I make really good money doing it, and I just want to help other people figure out the ropes and maybe hopefully miss some of the hurdles. I've had a few questions, um, DMs and otherwise, uh, wanting some more information. Well, how do I do this successfully? I get the equipment stuff and everything like that. So I came up with a quick list of 8 musts to building a successful pressure washing business. The first thing that I would put, which I did put at the top of my list, is you must know what you're doing. You must be competent. So therefore, you must practice your technique. Get out there with your new equipment, get familiar with it, and practice. What can you practice on? Obviously, your own house, where you live. Practice, figure it out, work on the techniques that I describe in my ebook. Um, you can find that. I'll put links up. Anyway, it's called Successful Pressure Washing Startup by me, Dan Hall. So other places, do your in-laws' house for free. You have an elderly neighbor, do their place for free. Just your regular neighbor, do their place for free. Try it out. You're not losing any money other than a little bit of chemical and some gas, but what you're gaining is confidence that will make you so much money. Don't think of it as free. It's think of it this way: it's free education. It's free learning. As far as wood goes, find some grayed out or green wood that is tucked off in a corner or is discarded or old and sitting behind the shed or something. I wouldn't recommend doing it on a visible deck or something like that the first time you try it. Maybe the back side of the deck or underneath the deck. Try it there first, because I will guarantee you will mar that wood. You will mar the wood until you figure out how to do it. That's how I learned. I did not learn out in the field. I learned on a piece of trellis that was on the backside of a building at the landscaping company I worked for. I practiced on that and got my technique down, and I practice a little every day, and it's fun. Basically, what you're doing with pressure washing is you're playing with a giant squirt gun, and it's really cool. It's really fun. It can be really enjoyable. So, unless you find out if you like it or not. So, you will make mistakes, and that's why we practice. So you don't do it out on the field. You don't screw up people's property. You don't have to use your insurance. You don't have to pay for it out of pocket. It'll still happen now and then. We'll get to that in a minute. But make the mistakes and get your technique down. Number 2, learn how to price your jobs appropriately. This is the best advice I can give you to not lose money pressure washing. Do not be the cheapest person in town. Let somebody else do that. Being the cheapest does a couple things. First of all, right off the bat, tells your prospective customers that you're not that good. Being cheapest. Why do we go to the dollar store? Do we care about the quality? Nope. We want a pencil or a card for an acquaintance for $1 instead of spending $5 at the Hallmark store for our wife or kid or something like that. So it tells people you're not good quality. Second of all, the customers who get the cheapest person available, the terrible customers, because they want full service for as little money as possible, and they are nitpickers, and you just don't want them. I've been down that road, especially first starting out, just trying to get jobs, I'm hungry. Um, if you have a day job, don't quit it yet. Wait until you get this thing rolling. My circumstance was a little different. Uh, the company I was working for disappeared, and I really didn't know what to do, and I was in a totally different field, and I was like, well, I have this equipment, and I've been doing this kind of part-time, and I had to jump in kind of quickly. But anyway, don't be the cheapest. Learn how to price your stuff, and what that tells your customers is that you are worth it. You know what you're doing. They're not buying a clean house. They're buying your expertise and skill. They're buying their own time back. They are paying you so they don't have to do it. What's that worth to them? Well, you can tell them that because it's your time. What do you think of yourself? What do you think of your technique? What do you think about driving across town and carrying all this equipment and buying the equipment and all the time you put in learning how to do this stuff? It's all worth something. And it's if you're the cheapest guy in town, you either cut corners learning how to do it, or you just don't think that much of yourself. So learn how to price your jobs appropriately, and it helps everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, there is plenty of pressure washing work to go around. There really is. You can have two guys next door to each other, and you don't have to be in competition. There is plenty of jobs for everybody, especially if you specialize in something like I do, which is residential, because most people think there's not any money in it. And I'm like, cool, I'll help perpetuate that idea because I get all that money. And I've figured out a way to make it super profitable. I average $200 an hour. The money's there. Anyway, number 3, learn how to sell. If you don't know how to sell, go learn. Just like you did about what's the best equipment to buy. You did a search to find videos. You read books. You talked to other people in the business. You can do the same thing with how to sell. Go to meetings. All sorts of stuff. Draw on your experience from the past. Learn how to sell and negotiate. It will gain you so much money just from being able to know how to close a deal. I'm not talking used car salesmen. There is no reason ever to have to hard sell a pressure washing job. Zero. There is no such thing as a pressure washing emergency. If it was dirty yesterday, nobody's going to die because it's dirty tomorrow. It may seem like an emergency, like I have a graduation party, I have whatever else. Okay, but nobody's going to actually die if it doesn't get done right now, so there's no emergency. Same thing with selling. You don't want me to do it? Okay. Here's what I'll do it for. When would you like me to schedule? That is what I just did there is called an assumptive close. Look it up. Figure out how to do it for yourself. But learn how to sell. 4, don't spend your money willy-nilly. Don't just have money in and, have a system in place of how to allocate your money so you can have money to buy expenses, pay yourself, and keep the company profitable. What I recommend, and this is what I follow, and this works awesome. There's a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I have it in my blog. You can check out the spelling of the name, but if you look up Profit First, it'll pop up. It's a great book. It'll teach you, it takes all the guesswork out of everything, and long story short, you set up a bunch of accounts and each one's designated, and it gives you percentages of how to figure that out, and it's all adjustable, and he gives all the justifications about it, and it just makes sense. That's what I do. So Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I don't have a piece of that book or anything like that. It's just what I use because it makes sense. 5, beat feet. Get out there. Talk to people. Tell everybody that you're pressure washing. Go print up on Vistaprint some door hangers. That was one of the most successful things I did. The first thing I did was print up like a postcard size thing, and it said 15% off April, blah blah blah. Because I started passing stuff out in March. Book by April 15th and get 15% off. And I got one job for like $900 on I forget how many hundreds of dollars I spent on those postcard things. And I thought, this is going to be awesome. And I walked around and I handed those out. So I got pretty low return on that. But, I mean, it was still profitable, $900 job. But the job took me forever. I broke, I think I rented something, and I didn't check the water pressure, and it was a restaurant, and so when they turned on the dishwasher, the pressure of the water in the feed line to my pressure washer dropped, and I had a heater running my water. So when they hit the dishwasher, it took like 30 gallons in like 2 seconds, and it cut my feed off, which turned my heater off, and that was the used one I talked about earlier. And it shut down for the rest of the day, and it was such a mess. I ended up having to use one of those $100, $120 Home Depot specials to finish the job. And I had a friend working with me that day, so I'd pay him. I lost money. It was ridiculous, but I got it under my belt. Hope your first one's better than that. But that was another mistake too, going after commercial right from the get-go. Anyway, but get out there. With the door hangers, I would go to McMansion, suburb, neighborhoods, and I just hang them on the door. And I always thought, I'm not soliciting because I'm not knocking on doors. I'm just putting it on there. It had my name, what I do, how much it is, and how to get a hold of me. Very simple. And I just walk around the neighborhood, and I wouldn't knock on doors. I wouldn't talk to anybody. Just hang them up. And I got some exercise in, and I have gotten a lot of business off those. I figure those are about a 2 to 3% return. So for every 100 that I hung up, 2 or 3 phone calls would come, and I'd convert on because they're interested. I did a pretty good conversion rate, probably 75% of the phone calls I got from hangers I would get. But I'll go into detail on that some other time. But get out there and talk. Beat feet. Another thing is you can join like a network marketing group. Talk to landscapers and painters. I know a lot of painters who hate pressure washing, just like I don't like to paint. Landscapers are always running into stuff, whether they're doing retaining walls or just a lot of people ask their landscapers if they do pressure washing. So just get out there and get your name out there. You have to make the phone ring. It's not just going to magically start ringing. Number 6. This is one of the most important things I thought of you must do, and that's to have integrity. You must have integrity, and here's what I mean by this. It will give you so much business. Taking shortcuts or, being, a little squishy in the integrity department, overcharging, not doing everything you'd say, whatever. It might make money come quicker, but it's going to dry up and you're going to be a flash in the pan and you won't survive. You just won't. And that's true with anything in life. Have integrity. And the reason I say it is because I know that doing a couple of these things that I'm about to mention has given me so much business that I wouldn't see otherwise. And I actually have a story from this past week how I got, there's a job I bid on, and I got the job. I sold it and got the job, even though my bid was twice as much as the next lowest person. I was the highest bid, and I got the job, even though somebody came in at half the price. And it's because I had a relationship with the person taking the bids, and they've seen my work. They know who I am as a person. We talk, we built that relationship. But having that integrity help do that. I know I've got thousands of dollars just because I do what I say and I say what I'm gonna do and I mean it and I show up. So have integrity. What I mean by this, if you screw up, own it. If you break something, own it. Just tell them. I've had to knock on that door and it's so hard. The first thought is they'll never know. And I don't want to tell them that I just knocked over their whatever vase or doesn't matter. It's usually not even something I've hit with the spray. Like I'll be turning around and back into something or something breaks. Own it. Every single time that I've owned it, it's worked out just fine. I haven't had to pay with the insurance, or I was going to throw that out anyway, or I hated that thing. I don't tell the wife. It'll be fine. But I've owned it. I've been honest about it. I'm sorry. How can I make this right? And it's always worked out just fine. If the phone rings, answer it. Don't let it go to voicemail. Answer the phone. It goes so far. How many times have you called a contractor, landscaper, or whatever else, and it rings and rings, and you leave a message, and then a week later, you get a phone call, maybe, that says, oh yeah, I've been super busy. Literally just happened to me today with the guy who cuts my grass, or I'm thinking about, he doesn't cut my grass yet because I'm just thinking about having him cut my grass. My friends recommended him to me, so I called him a week ago, left my name and number, address, calls me back today. I was like, oh yeah, I called. Yeah. So can we set up a time? Sure. So how's Saturday? Fine. It's in my calendar. We'll see if he shows up or not. If he doesn't, I'm done. I'll find somebody else. There's plenty of people. Same thing with pressure washing. Plenty of people pressure washers. Plenty of people cut grass. I'll find the one who responds to me. Be that person. You'll make so much money. That goes along with this. If you set a time to meet somebody, show up. Show up on time. It's so rare. I don't know. To me, it's like, well, yeah, of course. But it's so rare in this business. I don't know how people do it. Apparently, there's other pressure washing companies that don't need customers or don't need a single customer or whatever else. I don't need bad customers, but I need more customers. I like money. So, customers have money and they're willing to hire me. So, I'm going to meet them if I say I'm going to meet them. It brings about a loyalty and it brings about repeat customers. Let me put it this way. Don't take shortcuts. There is no use in it. Do what you charge for. Say what you mean what you say. Do what you said you're going to do. If you've going back to number 2, if you price it appropriately, everybody's happy because you've sold the job in number 3 for the price in number 2. They're expecting X amount of work because you've detailed that out to some level, and so it's fair and it shows integrity to do what you. So taking a shortcuts and skipping aside, skipping something, oh, they'll never see that, whatever else. It's just not cool. They're gonna find out. They may never say anything, but they will also never call you again. And they have friends, they have in-laws, they have parents, they have whatever. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't take shortcuts. Number 7, another thing that has been hugely successful for me in terms of loyalty and repeat customers is on every single job, I find something to do for free. Some little extra piece for free. Every single place you do has them. Now, the way I set things up is I do the a residential house. I do this binding sidle for a set price, and the porch, overhang door, whatever. So the 4 sides of the house, north, east, west, south. I do the front door area. Then if I have to get out the surface cleaner, it depends on the neighborhood and stuff. Some all have like a little short sidewalk. That's included in the flat fee price. If they want the concrete driveway done, I charge extra. They want the deck done, charge extra. So a lot of my super profitable jobs are because of the add-ons that I can sell on top of the flat rate pricing for the house. Now, the flat rate pricing for the house is still stupid profitable because I can bang that puppy out in an hour and a half. And at my price, it's $200 now. It's pretty reasonable for me. And, it's pretty reasonable for them. Now, it's whatever the math is there. You can kind of guess what I'm flat rating at. But it's not $99. And I don't do a loss leader type of BS advertising. I tell them $299 for flat fee, but it's just the vinyl. And I tell them that it's just the vinyl. It's the northeast, west side, northeast, south, west side of the house. The vinyl, I will get it clean. I don't talk about gutters. I don't talk about the roof. I don't talk about anything else. Boom. Then I'm able to do that front porch area usually, and maybe they have a little concrete pad by the garage door, or the garage door, man door, and I do that for free. Those little extras. Next time they need it done, who are they going to call? They're going to call me. Oh, you did such a great job on the house. How about the deck? Cool. That's $400. Okay, that sounds fair. Happens all the time. I'm not making this stuff up. So do one little extra thing on every job you do. Number 8, plan for at least one thing to go wrong on every single job you do. 95 times out of 100, I will have something happen. O-ring will blow, run out of gas in the middle because for whatever reason, I forgot to check it before I started. That's all on my systems checklist. We'll go over a systems checklist in the near future because that's a huge time saver and really helps you build your business to be successful. But that's why we carry bits and tools. Fittings, hoses start breaking, spring a leak here and there, whatever. Had so many things. I lose. I put a tip in the end of the thing, and I go to spray it, and it pops off, and it's lost in the landscaping, it's lost in the bush, and I can't find it. And I've got 3 other jobs after this, so I've got to keep moving. So, I brought 20 spares, so I have another one to pop right in there. But something little or big will go wrong every time, or like I turn around and I break something. Well, that's going to cost me time. Et cetera, et cetera. So, if you plan for something happening, you won't get overwhelmed or startled or kind of like, oh, I'm never going to get through this job or whatever else because you planned on something happening. So, what I go to is I just kind of have a smile on my face and I'm like, wonder what it's going to be this time. And it's funny, those 5 times that something doesn't go wrong, I'm like, did I forget something? Did I do something wrong because everything went smoothly? And I'll like call the wife and be like, wow, that was one that went smoothly. So I like those, but they're few and far between. I don't know why. It's not bad luck. It's just you're working with a bunch of variables and just kind of plan on it. Be able to problem solve. Be able to think yourself out of the box. That's why it's good to practice, like we said, number 1, to be familiar with your equipment. Oh, gee, I'm out of pressure. I wonder what's going on. Oh, I know what that probably is. That hose is leaking, the supply hose, or whatever. There's a clog in the filter of the feed line, or but you can figure it out. It's not the end of the world. It's not throwing your things down and I quit and blah blah blah. You can quit, but you're only quitting on yourself. And you can. I heard this line recently. Um, you can quit anytime, so why quit now? It made sense to me. I hope it does to you. But if you do these 8 things, you're gonna have a successful pressure washing business. You're gonna build it into something that you can do and make really good money and be your own boss. So hope this was helpful, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. My name's Dan Hall, and this is Pressure Washing Startup. And good luck. If you have any questions, comment below. My email's dtmpressurewashing@gmail.com. Feel free to get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions I can. So have a great night.